The Division 2.
This is also a game you got to see recently.
It is, but that's not why it's on the most anticipated list necessarily. Like, the reason I'm really curious about this game is we saw how bad Destiny kind of blew it with the second one, where like they stripped a lot of endgame stuff out of the experience, and they're communicating. Ubisoft is like, actually, that's our focus for everything we're doing. We want post-game narrative. We want post-game PvP. We want post-game raids. You know, like they're really focusing on that. So that's their messaging. I want to know if it's true. You know,
I feel like so many people have had that as the messaging. Every MMO is like, oh no, our end game's gonna be different. It's like, it rarely pays off.
It always feels so weird though to like really focus. I'd like to say the end game is our focus, because that also makes it feel then you're not giving due attention to the process it takes to get to the end game.
Well, they say it. That's the messaging because there are people that live in that game with their friends. You know, like that's what they do every weekend. They hop on Division. They go into the underground. They get their familiar hamster wheel experience. And that's when the new game comes out. If they run out of content right away, the entire Reddit is just Assault Emporium. You know,
and that's a great strategy, I think, for keeping those people like interested and happy. But I'm saying, like, I don't know that's a great strategy if you want to, like, expand your audience either. Like, because, like, talking about endgame can get intimidating for someone who is just like, I wonder if this game's going to be good. I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like games like this and competitive multiplayer games and sports games, you need to service from the core out as opposed to the other way around, because the more you try to create like, oh, this game's easier and more accessible, the more you alienate the people that actually give a shit about your game.
Yeah. And I'm not, this is weird because I'm talking, it's really more about marketing, I think, which is not always dumb and can be interesting.
He's come around.
But, you know, I'm thinking more in terms of not even what the game is, but the messaging around it. Like that seems a little, strange. But.
There are things that I'm excited about in this game, though. New York was a lot of fun. I liked being in winter New York. I certainly am ready for a change of scenery. Mm-hmm. You know, so moving it to DC in the summer where there's a lot more variety. There's going to be residential areas, you know, like historical landmarks, waterfronts. It's just going to feel different, which is going to be nice.
Joe, aren't you just excited to check out a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C.?
Finally. Yeah. Now, but my question about, are they still doing that dark zone or whatever it was?
Yes, they are. Actually, it's going to be a little bit different this time. There's not one giant dark zone in the middle of the map. They're creating 3 different smaller ones that each have different kind of play experiences. So one of them is going to be more focused on long sight lines. One of them is going to be focused more on close quarters.
Oh, interesting.
So they're going to have different experiences, and they're trying to get people in there because a lot of people were just like, that's intimidating. I don't know about that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you if you got into that, because I remember seeing, it was an E3 demo I think they did of that zone, and I was just like, God, I do not want to play in this area where you're just constantly worried if someone's going to screw you over.
Yeah, the tension is real, and it can be really gratifying when you escape with something. Mm-hmm. But it always sucked when you're like, oh, I got this contaminated item. I got to get to the extraction point, you know, ring the bell and let everybody know I'm standing here ready to get my loot out of here, and then have a bunch of people descend and take it. Yeah. That was really annoying. But it also made it, when you got something out, that you were really gratified. So I liked the fact that it had that dynamic to it. This time they're making some concessions to the people that don't always want to leave empty-handed. Yeah. Not all the gear is contaminated anymore, so you're going to get stuff that you have access to immediately that you can take with you whether or not somebody kills you. They've created different gameplay loops, so you don't have to be into the PvP manhunt where you're targeting other players. There's kind of this hacking system that you can do where you're unlocking a thieves' den that has gear that you can acquire. Mm-hmm. So they're creating different play experiences in there. So it sounds promising.
Yeah. Yeah. That's to me, the fix is just like you spend a bunch of time playing a game, and then you just leaving empty-handed just seems like a big middle finger.
And the other big change is they're normalizing weapon damage. So whether or not you've played for 1,000 hours and you have a super awesome assault rifle, and I've been playing for 10 hours and I have a garbage one, the stats are going to be pretty similar on those. Wow. So Twitch skills are going to matter a little bit more in combat.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it was going to piss off a lot of the hardcore people, but I think they realized that, and that's why they've created this thing called the Occupied Dark Zone. So it's going to rotate, but every I don't know what the clock's going to be like, but there's always going to be one of the three is an occupied dark zone where like everything is off the table. Like there's friendly fire, your gear is not normalized, so you can still like have that hardcore experience.
That's weird. Okay. I don't know how I feel about like dividing that up, where it's just every once in a while you're gonna have completely different gear. You know, it's like imagine playing Destiny where guns are completely different.
Gear. It's the same gear. It just
feels and has a different impact. And
sometimes it's gonna be scaled, so like your damage is similar, and sometimes you're gonna be able to really test your gear sets and figure out what's the best.
Yeah, think of it more like you're opting into a hardcore mode when you want to play it, but but otherwise it's sort of a normal, like a balanced experience.
So I'm really curious what the community thinks about that. I know they would be really pissed if they just got rid of that free-for-all experience, so it's smart that they're keeping it.
Do you think it's going to be approachable for newcomers?
I mean, I thought the first game was pretty approachable. You have a 40-hour campaign. You can play solo or with friends. There's a lot of side activities that you can just do in the open world that you don't need to engage in PvP. You know, and then if you want to go into that PvEVP space, they're actually making the intro missions for each of the 3 dark zones be a part of the story. So you can go in there and there aren't people there that are going to kill you. You can learn kind of the ins and outs of them, find where the landmarks are, and then the next time you go in, it'll be that true space where something bad can happen.
Cool. What was the most interesting location you went to and you got to play recently?
I think the waterfront, the Dark Zone South, was really different. It was still flooded. Like there had been some like natural disasters that happened over the course of the summer, and like some cataclysmic event because roads are all collapsed, and it was really tight spaces even though you're in the open. That was interesting. I'm curious to see how that place plays out. There's lots of like underground areas you could go into and pop up in a different part of the map. So I would like to spend more time there, but I'm also curious, like, what landmarks are they going to be doing stuff in?
Yeah.
You know, some are givens, like the Washington Monument and the Capitol, but like, are we going to go in the Spy Museum or the Museum of Natural History or, you know, Smithsonian or something like that?
Right. And I wonder, are they going to save that stuff for the end? Will they keep like the mall as the conclusion, or is that just like a good starting area? I don't know. Will I finally get to walk through the White House in a game, which is all I want, like a perfectly recreated White House. I want that game.
I mean, they can't do that.
Why not?
You can't perfectly recreate, because they don't want people like simulating terror attacks on the White House.
White House Simulator? I mean...
Okay, well then keep it for the end game. Then you really have to grind if you're a terrorist before you can get to that point.
And Joe, that's a really weird reason not to build a building in a game. You know?
No. But I'm saying this is why, as far as I understand it, they don't like put out schematic. Like you don't know what the interior of the White House looks like. They redesign it a lot.
I'm sure there's some secret rooms and stuff. Redesign it a lot. It's not some crazy mansion.
I think they do.
Isn't it the craziest mansion in the United States?
That's right. I forgot. The White House is basically Hypercube. Now that I think about it, I don't know.
We'll see.
I bet the rough schematics are out there. I bet you could have a rough idea.
Yeah, Google White House blueprints.
All right, maybe I will, Joe.
Go do it on Joe's computer so that you guys can like look together at the same time.
Don't worry, the government shut down. No one's going to track you.
Yeah, exactly right. Here's what I want, though, Joe. I want the White House recreated, and then I want like a ghost hunting game in there where you have to like track down all the presidents and suck them up into your little vacuum.
If I had a White House, if I could have a game in the White House, I would have it be the opening sequence from X-Men 2 where you're Nightcrawler and just like bamfing around and attacking dudes and teleporting. Yeah.
And then they could keep the actual schematics confusing because you're not actually moving from room to room. You're just bamfing and then you're in a different room every time. You have no idea what the layout is.
Yep.
Hey guys, great. Leo in the booth.
Yeah.
2 quick things.
Yeah.
First off, I found the blueprints for the White House immediately.
Great. We'll put them on the screen.
Okay. I'm an idiot. There we go. Yes.
Second off, if people want to learn more about the Division 2 and its Dark Zone, we have a new gameplay today up right now on GameInformer.com.
We do. And I have an interview with Red Storm creative director Terry Spear, who talks about all the changes that are happening with Dark Zone, and there's the new PvP mode called Conflict. So,
wait, from what team?
From Red Storm. Red Storm is doing the kind of Dark Zone and PvP stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And then Massive is doing a lot of the other stuff.
Oh, I didn't know it was split that way. That's
they're a collaborative force.
Cool. I feel like Division 2 might be one of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're feeling that hot about it, Bertz, but like I think so many people have dabbled with the first division at this point that if they just get out of the gate strong, I think it can be huge.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.